The phrase feng shui translates as wind and water. It's an ancient system for balancing the forces of nature. When feng shui is correct, the spirits are happy. But if you have too much feng and not enough shui, you're in big trouble. One of the most extraordinary examples of feng shui is Hong Kong's InterContinental Hotel. During the early stages of its construction, a feng shui master was called in to make sure everything in the plan was properly balanced. In general, the design was okay, but the architects were from San Francisco and completely unaware that 9 very powerful dragons lived nearby, and the hotel was going to block the route they used every day to go for a swim in the harbor. Fortunately, dragons can easily pass through glass. So all the builders needed to do was put in a row of glass doors at the entrance to the hotel and a big glass wall on the other side of the lobby that looks out on the harbor. Actually, there are 8 regular dragons, and so there are 8 glass doors. The 9th dragon is the emperor, who lives with the dragons but tends to bathe separately. The feng shui master also suggested that the hotel's reception desk be placed between the glass doors and the glass wall, which allows the dragons to drop off some of their wealth before they hop in the bay. These days, it serves the same function for the hotel guests. The collaboration between the feng shui master and the architects had some amazing results. In order to avoid blocking the dragon's route, the lobby lounge was created and turned out to be one of Hong Kong's great spaces. All of the walls had to be aligned with the forces of nature, which had the side effect of giving the rooms a knockout view of the harbor in Hong Kong. The hotel's presidential suite is considered to be one of the world's most luxurious. Its double-height living room has a grand piano. U.S. President Harry Truman was an excellent piano player. He would have loved this place. I always identify with presidential suites. You see, when I was in the 4th grade, I was the class president. Unfortunately, I spent most of the term fighting a politically motivated attempt to have me impeached. In 1900, the tire manufacturers André and Edouard Michelin decided to publish a guide for French motorists. At the time, there were only about 3,000 cars on the roads of France, and their hope was that the guide would promote the sale of cars and the Michelin tires they rode on. During the 1920s, they decided that restaurants should be included in the guides, and they hired a bunch of inspectors to make sure that only the best restaurants got into their books, with the exception of their cousin Pierre's place in Lyon, which really wasn't very good, but he was a cousin, and you know, when it's family, the rules change. In 1931, they introduced a rating system based on stars. 1 star meant it was a very good restaurant. 2 stars indicated a level of cooking that warranted a detour from your planned itinerary. A restaurant with 3 stars implies a gastronomic level so high that even if you were planning on staying in your hotel room and watching reruns of Downton Abbey or whatever the equivalent was in 1931, you should get up, get in your car, the one with the Michelin tires, and drive to the restaurant. These days, Hong Kong has more Michelin-starred restaurants than any other city in the world with equal population density. In fact, 3 of them are within 50 yards of each other. The steakhouse is a wine bar and grill that has been awarded a Michelin star. Its steaks come from the United States, Australia, Canada, and Argentina, and they are cooked on a charcoal grill. The wine cellar has over 3,000 bottles representing more than 500 labels, but their specialty is the big bottle. One of the really unusual things about this steakhouse is you get to choose the knife you're going to use to cut your steak.
So we offer the slim one, the powerful and the handle. We do have the different of the size as well. So when you enjoy the steak, you're more enjoyable. Okay.
And I can pick whatever one I want and I'll get a fresh one.
Can do.
Okay. The other thing they have that I liked a lot, 12 mustards.
Two of them is very strong. It's like the mustard with the horseradish, and also the typically of the English mustard. The other dish is a Dijon and the Parma mustard. And also we have onion, green peppercorn, garlic, chili, herbs, balsamic, grapes, horseradish, and also the honey and dew.
That's awesome. They also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different salts
Yes.
that I can put on my steak or my baked potato or whatever I want. Okay, let's go get a steak.
Thank you.
Come on. Spoon is a Michelin 1-star created by Alain Ducasse, the peripatetic French chef.
So today I will do a recipe of homemade pasta. So we have 2 different kind of dough.
Stefan Gortina is the executive chef, and he prepared 2 of his favorite dishes: homemade pasta with green asparagus and black truffles, and a cook pot of seasonal vegetables and fruit.
So me in my recipe, I decided to do the pasta round. So just we will cut it. So basically, me, I will use only the head of asparagus for this recipe. This part, of course, we don't throw away, we keep. We can do a soup, we can do a puree, we can do a lot of things with this part of the asparagus. When you have this part, we used to say épicoter, it's remove this part. Red, small baby red onion.
I've never seen those. A baby red onion.
Yes.
Far out.
Here you will see, so we will start with olive oil. We will sweat a little bit the asparagus. We will add the onion and we will deglaze with stock. So me, it is a chicken stock.
Okay.
And when it is boiling, now we will add our pasta inside.
So different. Really
Yes.
interesting. Because it's fresh dough, it'll cook in a minute.
Yes, it's cooking very, very fast. And now you will see time to cook. We will reduce the juice and everything will be cooked together and all the flavor will stay together. We just miss one thing, it is the truffle.
Truffles.
Just must to try every time for the seasoning. Huh?
Sure.
So we have our puree hot. Just I will put at the bottom. So just we will cook like this.
Fabulous.
We will put the juice, what we have inside. Please take a spoon and try.
It's the dish my grandmother never made. We put the finished pasta dish on a table so we could come back later and shoot what we called the beauty shot. However, while we were filming, my son ate it. Yan Toh Heen means the place you like to hang out with the great view. It has been awarded 2 stars by Michelin and is considered to be one of the best Chinese restaurants in the world. Its signature dish is Peking duck. The recipe starts with the duck being boiled in water for a while. Then the duck hangs around in the kitchen for a day or 2. Then it gets roasted in the oven and basted with hot oil. At your table, the skin is sliced off, placed on a freshly cooked pancake, and dressed with an assortment of vegetables and sauces. Many restaurants have a sommelier that advises guests on the selection of wines. This restaurant has a sommelier that advises guests on the selection of tea and which tea goes with which food. I couldn't cover the restaurant scene in Hong Kong without visiting NOBU. The Nobu restaurants feature a style of Japanese cooking reminiscent of the countryside in Japan where Nobu grew up. Years ago, I worked on a great book about cooking equipment called The Cook's Catalog, and Nobu wrote the section on Japanese equipment. I've been a fan ever since. Sean Mell is the executive chef here, and he's going to make 2 dishes. The first is foie gras with pickled cherry on homemade bao toast. The second is baked king crab in a sea of urchin butter.
This is just a house-made bao bun. Bao, typically when you're in in Asia and China, you get the pork char siu stuffed inside the bao and they get steamed.
Yeah.
So same idea. The only thing that we're doing here is not filling it with anything. Later, after it's steamed and cooled down, we'll use these as actually a play on if you would get foie gras and brioche in a French restaurant. So this is just, I guess, more Asian, more Japanese feel to it. I'll show you. Just to kind of ensure that they get smoothness on top. You roll them out, and then you kind of fold them in and under on the bottom.
Got it. Okay.
So it kind of tightens the top.
Okay.
See how it kind of smooths it out, gets a little flat. And then you just want to pat it down.
I have a distinct feeling I'm going to be in remedial dough making.
This is the bao after it's done. These have been steamed already.
Okay.
Nice soft. And then once we start cooking these, they'll actually get softer. So it'll soften up quite a bit. This is our foie gras. We import it from France. It's Rouge foie, so very high quality, very good. So in the meantime, this is actually our sweet onion sauce that we've got here. We're going to start reducing. So this we make in-house as well. Start off with caramelized onions. We deglaze a little sake, a little soy, some mirin. This actually gets cooked with Wagyu fat as well, the sweet onion sauce.
She just sauteed that for a minute or two.
Just a minute, just to kind of get the outside charred. We actually start these in the pan while it's a little bit cold still. The reason being is, you want the bao to get nice and crispy on the outside. Our bao are just toasted to our liking. Nice little golden brown. We'll start building our little mini bao here.
Why does that smell good?
Thank you. And then this is just a little bit of micro chervil. Kind of give it a little bit of herbaceousness and a little extra balance there. And that is the foie gras toasted bao.
Fabulous.
Yeah.